Hi everybody, this is Dmitry from Tritão. We build custom titanium frames here in Portugal, near Aveiro. And today I would like to talk about the new Groont 3D gravel frame model that we've just released. Let's go. Okay, so here in front of me are two Groont frames. This one is the classic, like the first edition, first generation. This one is the 3D, Groont 3D. And well, if you've read the press release about the new frame, basically you know that the 3D in the name means that we're using 3D printed, SLM 3D printed titanium parts in the frame, as opposed to CNC machined parts that we used in our classic first gen Groont frame. We are also kind of old school in terms of production, and we love CNC parts. But in order to make it efficient, you have to make hundreds of parts, equal parts, and expect that you're going to have a lot of sales in the coming year. And then once you run out of them, you have to wait for weeks and months till the new batch is made. With 3D printing, we can make a batch of like 5 sets of dropouts and yokes. And also we're flexible in terms of updates in the standards and technologies that are used by manufacturers of drivetrains, so that we can implement those updates every few months if needed. And this is what we've done on our Aveiro frame, where we first introduced the 3D printed dropouts. We would make, I think, 4 updates until we reached the right shape and weight and also the price. So the Grun 3D has obviously 3D printed dropouts, and since it's 2025, these dropouts are of course UDH and T-type compatible, so you can run either classic derailleur with classic hanger, but it's going to be a UDH hanger, which is good because if you're stuck somewhere with a broken hanger, you can get it in any bike shop that you find around. These things are now super widespread and they cost nothing. Back in the days when a rider would snap a dropout hanger on the classic Groont, we would actually have to buy it at Paragon website, who are the suppliers of the dropouts here on the classic Groont, and we would ship them over to the customer. And it was quite a pain in the ass, especially in if the customer is in Australia or Germany, because Paragon machine they work really fast, but they're in the US and California. With UDH, it's actually much easier. You can buy those UDH hangers anywhere, and of course, since it's UDH, the new T-type transmission by SRAM is going it's plug and play. It's really easy. Also, it's not yet released, but the other manufacturer will be introducing the direct mount derailleurs pretty soon, and our frames are compatible already. I cannot name it, but you have guessed. So the dropouts, apart from being with UDH on the drive side, on the left side we've got a flat mount. Back in the days, we would weld the flat mount bit to the dropout. That would take a lot of time in terms of making sure it's aligned, it's parallel, and it's square where needed. Now the dropout and the flat mount is one piece, which have saved us a bunch of weight. And also it's easier to manufacture, to actually assemble the frame, put it in a jig and get it welded. It's easier when it's one piece. So that flat mount bit, the tab, is now 160 mil spec, as opposed to 140 on the original Groont. That means if you're using a 160 mil rotor, you no longer need to use an adapter. You just screw it into the frame and it's done. And if you're a heavy guy or using a heavy load of like cargo, you can use an adapter and run a 180 in the back, which is pretty crazy for a gravel bike. Another thing where 3D printing helped us in this project is the yoke. We used to make a half yoke made of like 2 CNC shells that are welded together in order to provide torsional stiffness and ability to run cable through it. So it's not like a simple piece of metal, but it was like quite a complicated piece. But on the other side, it was just an ovalized chainstay. And since it's a chainstay and it's a really stiff tube, you cannot really ensure the shape is optimized for a large gravel tire. So on the original Groont, on the first generation, the maximum tire clearance for a 700C tire was 45 mil. Now it's 48, and it's the shape of the yoke, because we now print 2 sides. So it's a one single piece with a bridge and a fender mount. It allows up to 48 with more mud clearance. So I guess there will be people who will try to run 700 by 50 or even more. It will fit now much better than in the previous generation of the frame. In terms of the front triangle, technically there are no differences. The same internal cable routing, the same ports that you can where you can replace the caps with the right number of holes for cable lines, and the main difference is the geometry. So the Grun, the first gen Groont was more like kind of high stack, short reach, kind of bicycle for looking around yourself and more upright position. But some customers have told us they wish they would have slightly lower stack and longer reach. And this is what we did, basically. The frame is slightly longer, it's slightly lower in terms of head tube height, and the head tube angle is now more slack, so we've eliminated the toe overlap, and we made sure that this frame is better for going downhill, especially when you're loaded with cargo. Now it's more stable. The trail has changed. You can look up on our website. It's got the whole table of the geometry. You can see that the frame is now longer and lower, which is basically more modern and I believe safer in this time of the gravel world. So 3D printing also allowed us to make the frame cheaper, slightly cheaper, but you know, it makes sense. It was 3,200 euros before VAT here in Europe, or just 3,200 euro when we shipped it outside of EU. Now the price is 2,950 euros, so it's 250 off. That's one good thing, and another good thing, it's lighter. The usage of the 3D printed dropouts and yoke allowed us to save 140 grams for the same frame size. The 54 of the first gen would be 1,690 grams, something like that. This new one is also, this one is size 54, 1,556 grams. So we've saved almost 10%. It's almost 10% weight reduction, which might not be a lot for, you know, for a gravel bike. They end up at 9 kilos. But you know, it's cooler to have a slightly lighter, newer frame. Hope you like this video and our new Groont 3D model. if you have any questions, feel free to ask us through the social media channels, and check out our website where all the information is listed. We're happy to help you, and stay tuned for more cool stuff.